can't make it on the call. So that's all.
Oh, good.
Lucky we got the time sorted.
It's lucky you messaged me because I thought it was 2 hours behind as well.
Yeah.
So, but it's all good.
At least we know for next time it's 3.
Yeah. Because I'm coming over to Queenstown tomorrow, so I still thought it was 2 hours ahead, but it must be 2 hours from Sydney.
Yeah.
Because of daylight saving. Do you guys have daylight saving?
Yeah, we have daylight saving.
Yeah, there you go. Queensland doesn't have daylight saving. We're backwards. Apparently it fades the curtains.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, it's always hot over there anyway, so you're right.
Yeah.
Always sunny. No, that's awesome. So I guess we'll kick right into it. Just wait for a few
minutes. Where's everyone mostly sort of dialing in from? Where is everyone?
Mostly from New Zealand.
Yeah. Whereabouts? So, like, which parts?
Oh, all over? Around, literally from the top of the north to the bottom of the South Island, really. We've got people jumping
up north, Marlborough.
Yep. And down south in Dunedin.
Mighty Waikato, mate. Bali. Welly. How awesome is this? Just came from Queenstown. England. This is epic. This is awesome.
England. Oh, we're gonna miss her in New Zealand. But no, that's so cool. Thanks so much for jumping on, Scott. And I'll introduce you a little bit because I know that most people know you, but some people don't. The ones
may not. Yeah.
Isogenics. So Scott is an amazing guy. We have known him pretty much our whole Isogenics journey. Some facts you probably don't know about him. He's actually a dad of 6 kids, which I learned today. There
you go. I'll show you a photo. Like I should. That's them, all of them there on the vision board. You can see that.
Wow. Such a good looking family right there. And a CrossFit lover. So in the post I put up, you probably saw his abs. I put that up for you, Scott. And in his Isogenics journey, they ran fast from the start, and Scott made in 20 months, and then was an Isogenics millionaire within 28 months, which is incredible. And so can you tell us a bit more about your story, Scott, and from the very start, why you got started with Isogenics?
Yeah, well, thank you. Thanks, Vanessa. I was into health and fitness most of my life. So through high school, I was into surfing, competitive surfing, and just that beach lifestyle and loving the ocean. I used to party a lot back then, but I was sort of into health. But when I was 19, I had a really bad accident, broke my neck and broke my back in a car accident. And that sort of put a whole stop to my life. So about pretty much the whole of my age 19, I was in a big body brace. Mm-hmm. And it really put me on a path of looking after myself. So I was always into the gym. I was always into doing weights. And the doctors said I'd never do anything physical again after the accident. And I was just like, BS, no way. Like, you can't tell me that. And I remember swearing at the nurses and the doctors saying, I've got a surfing competition on next weekend. But I was just so focused and determined to get back to being healthy and fit again. And so, right through my 20s and 30s, I was very health conscious. And I was doing some cleansing even before Isogenics, tried a lot of the cleanses like the liver detox and the skin cleansing diet, and then working with Anthony Robbins doing his programs. He had a cleansing program as well. So I was already familiar with it. But I sort of thought I knew everything as well. So when a school friend reached out to me to tell me about Isogenics for the first time, I was just like, oh man, forget about it. Who's that there?
Hey,
Reese.
This guy's like hey, how's it going?
Good, mate. Can you guys all hear me now still?
Yeah. Yes. We'll make sure that we've muted our lines. That would be awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Yeah. So I was just like, no, I don't do shakes. I don't do food in containers. I eat all my food organic. I buy organic meat, fruit and vegetables. This just is not for me. But I didn't. I had too much of an ego, I suppose. I thought I knew it all and wasn't open to having a look. And this was John O'Patch, who I went to school with, and he was a client of mine in my financial planning business at the time. And then his wife Jen was sort of giving me more information and talking to me about the business. And but I was at a point in my life where I was just absolutely burnt out, even though I was doing all of the things to be healthy and eating all the right foods, and I was training 3 days a week in the gym doing functional fitness, not CrossFit, but sort of CrossFit style training. I was doing everything that I thought was right, but I was absolutely burnt out. So I was running my own financial planning office in Brisbane and working 12, 14-hour days in a cubicle and just not seeing my son, not just, always in the office. I'd leave home 7 a.m. And if I'm lucky, I'd get to say goodbye to my little fella and then get home, lucky to put him in bed if I was lucky. And so I got to a point where I was just absolutely burnt out and tired, and probably the most unhealthiest I'd been in my adult life at the time. And then what Jen said to me was like, Scotty, is what you're doing working for you? And I was like, well, no, it's not. It's not working for me. I feel terrible. But at the time, so my wife and I at the time, my ex-wife Leanne, we were going through some real financial difficulties as well through the global financial crisis, and building company. We were building a house. The company collapsed, and my business was really, really suffering because all of my clients were invested in the share market, and I was getting paid a percentage of their returns, and everything was going down with the global financial crisis. So financially, things were really bad. And then it was when Jen got me onto a three-way call with a guy called Warren Lance from Canada, and he just sort of cast this vision about where Isogenics was going and how it's all about helping people, and he told me how many people he'd helped over his 10 years been involved with Isogenics at the time, I think, and it just really, really inspired me. And then if Jen hadn't have showed me up front about how I could get some money back, like you share, they share, repeat, I don't think I would have ever signed up, because I didn't have the cash at the time, and logically I just didn't want to go ahead and enroll. Like 2 people was going to cost $1,000. I didn't have that spare $1,000, but it was then Jen and Warren telling me about, well, Scotty, if you just go out and find a few people, you can get some money back to help cover your pack. So went out and found six of us got started at the same time, and that's when it started. That was back in August 2012, and so I'd gone from this absolutely burnt out, stressed out, overwhelmed, overworked person that wasn't getting any results with my training and my fitness. I was just skinny fat and just my self-esteem was down. And then within like a few days of trying the products, it was like, boom, like this switch coming on, and I just felt like I was back. I felt like I'd just wound the clock back. Like I realized I'd just been walking around in the daze for so long. And then over that first 30 days, just that feeling came back more. And without changing my training at all, I dropped like 6 kilograms of body fat and gained 2 kilograms of muscle. So I had this real like noticeable transformation, and all the guys in the gym that I was training are like, man, you've been coming here all this time, like 7 years, and you've never changed. Like, what the heck's going on? What have you done? And so I started sharing with a few of those guys, and then people at work, family members, and just started sharing. And it's more and more people started wanting to know more. And then these people that were getting started were having amazing results. Like my cousin dropped 9 kilograms. My mum dropped 8 kilograms. Like Leanne's mum dropped like something like 7 or 8 kilograms in the first month. And so all these people started having great results. And then their group wanted to know what was going on. And then in the 3rd month, just through helping a few close friends and family, like we ended up getting to executive. We we got to Crystal Executive after 3 months, and that was on the back of attending David Wood. Just after a month after we'd started, we went along to a David Wood event. We spent the last $528 in the bank to get there because we just didn't have the money at the time. And then Jen Patch said to us, who sponsored us, said, look, it could be the best investment you ever make, Scotty. Just do whatever you can to get to this event. We turned up there 1 month into our journey, and we'd enrolled about 13 people at the time, but hadn't created a consultant. So we had not one consultant. And then that weekend of that event, which was in Sydney in 2012, we'd created the first consultant. And then 5 weeks after that event, we went Crystal Executive. And in that month, we'd earned just under $6,000 for the month. And that was the real light bulb moment for me when I saw that this was a real amazing opportunity. So as a financial advisor, like a 13-year career, my life was helping people create wealth and generate cash flow and invest in shares, invest in property, trading strategies, and all those strategies come with risk. So to generate cash flow, you've got to invest money. To generate $6,000 in a month, man, you need to have about $2-3 million invested. And I just really opened up my eyes to the opportunity. I thought, wow, we can create this in such a short space of time. Like, imagine what can be created after 12 months, 3 years, 5 years. So I set myself a goal. I wrote a goal then to really focus on the Isagenix business and set a plan in place. So that after 12 months, I'll be able to walk away from the stress the stress hole, the cubicle that I was working in 12 hours a day. And so, yeah, from that third month, got to work through that process of going Crystal Executive in that month. Also qualified for the first ISA Derby, which was ISA Derby Hawaii. And that was a real game changer. That was sort of hanging out with all of the leaders from ANZ at the time and some of the American leaders that came over to do the coaching. And that was a real big sort of belief building exercise from there. And then we had celebrations soon after, and then another David Wood event. And then after that 12-month goal, was in a position where we got the Isagenix business up to just over $20,000 a month. And it was Monday afternoon, 30th of September 2013, and I just called up the licensee, my financial planning licensee, and said, I'm out. Please give all my clients to XYZ Advisor. I'm done. See you later. I just walked out of the office and went and picked my son up from school, and that was like one of the best days of my life by far. That was a non-event, a Monday afternoon, going to pick up Sammy from school. And that was just, I realized how powerful this vehicle was. It created the time freedom that I was absolutely craving and missing out on. Like, I thought I was in the right vehicle. I thought I was doing the right thing with my life. I was working a financial services business, which is just like any other business. It's a vehicle that allowed me to help people, help contribute and help people with their wealth creation and plan for their future. But it was just coming at a massive cost with the stress of managing people's money, but the time, like, it was just trading my life, trading my time. And so finding the Isagenix vehicle, and then realizing that it was the vehicle for my future, for our future, that was just a magical moment. And I remember listening to one of the guys from the States, Mike the mechanic, who he used to be a mechanic working like multiple jobs and fixing cars in his driveway and struggling financially, and he became a 10-star platinum with Isagenix, like a 7-figure income earner as a mechanic. And he talks about how the 3 most important days of his life was A, the day he was born, B, the day that he discovered why he was born, and then C, the day that he's discovered the vehicle that allowed him to live out the why he was born, like allowed him to live out his life purpose. And that's what I experienced, was just that absolute finding that vehicle that allowed me to be myself and really do what I was put on this earth to do, which was just to be a light and be an inspiration for others to follow, and whatever that is. But that's what I believe my purpose was to be put on this earth to be a light, to inspire others to also be a light, so that it gives them permission to light up, and then that then lights up more and more people. And so that's exactly what this vehicle, I realised, then allowed me to do. And so that was 5 years ago when it created that life freedom. And now 5 years on, wow, it's just I've never been more passionate, more excited, more more excited about helping my team members. I was going to show you. I want to show you guys something. This is my vision board, and I don't know if you can see that there on the corner. And it's got all the guys there and my team with their big checks, which is from Celebration a few years ago, and they're holding up all their checks, like the 750 Club, the 250 Club, the 100,000 Club. And you'll see there that it says "Meet our newest millionaires." And so, yeah, that's the goal, is to help all those guys become millionaires. And then one of them already has, and there's one that's getting very, very close. They'll be the number 2, and then there'll probably be 2 or 3 more over the next 3 years, I reckon. That's my why now, is like really helping those guys reach that level of just having that life where they don't have to go to the daily grind. They don't have to get up with the alarm clock at 5:30 a.m. to get to the office, in their suit and tie, or whatever it is for them. And some people love what they're doing, but most people are just sort of in that daily grind, and 5 years can go by, 10 years can go by, 20 years. It was 15 years for me in the financial planning business. Just 15 years of my life like that, where I was in a cubicle for 12 hours a day. Like, you don't get those hours back, but I can choose now going forward to live on my terms, and that's what my goal is, to help all these guys do the same. But yeah, so now the business, which just started out like 6 years ago with just a couple of people and sharing, and it's now grown. I think the organization's in around 13 countries, and it's just ticked on 42,000 people. So, and a big part of that is, I think it's around about 20% is in NZ. So the Kiwis are just on fire. So in our downline organisation, there's around 20% which are New Zealand, from all over.
That's awesome.
So you guys are just absolutely on fire. Like the Kiwis just, I just love it. I was planning to get over to David Wood, the most recent one, but my circumstances changed, and I ended up having to have all the kids that weekend. So I ended up going to Brisbane. But looking at coming over in the new year to do like a bit of a road show and do some events. So I'd love to catch up with everyone. But that's a bit about my story. It's been a incredible journey, and just so much gratitude for Isogenics, and just for the vision, and it's just an incredible journey that allows you to really become the best version of yourself. Not only from a health perspective, where the products help you live out the healthiest version of yourself, but just as a person, and as a leader, and as someone contributing and making a difference and making an impact. It really allows people to really shine and be their best. And the more people you help, the harder you work at it, the greater your life can be. Like, the more freedom and income, it's uncapped.
100%. Thank you so much, Scott, for sharing your story. And yeah, it's an incredible journey that you went on. From just having that accident and being determined to get back, and then just starting with Isogenics. And I think one of the things that really caught my attention there was they told you about how you can share this with others to then get that rebate, to get the money back for that. And I think that's so key, just to tell people even before they start, that that's possible, or else you may not have started.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember sharing this on the panel at David Wood. Was a big discussion about like the question I got asked at the end was there's a big celebration coming up. You guys all coming over for celebration in February? I hope so.
Yeah.
But there's the Eric Warre leadership training, and to get in that room, you have to be director. So that director is where you've created 6 consultants, and you've got 6 consultants that you created. I don't think you have to be a paid as director where they're all active at the same time, but you just have to reach the rank. And so Steve Foxwell said, so Scotty, what would be your advice to helping people get to director so they can get in that room? And in previous years, we've been pretty lenient. I think corporates just let anyone into those leadership meetings, but they're going to be really strict on this one, apparently. And I said the best advice that I could give would be to show people how they can get paid. There's still a lot of high percentage of people are too fearful to talk about the money. I think that is probably the number one biggest thing that you could do to grow your business, and go from where you're the one doing all the enrolling and all the sponsoring, where you feel like, and we've all been through this, you ever had the time where you just feel like you're the only one enrolling? The only way to generate income is to keep enrolling and keep chasing those PIBs. Well, the way to change that is to show people how to get paid. So the thing that I always ask new people that are just starting out is, so Vanessa, it could be you. Like, you just imagine, I've just set you up. You're ready to go. I'm like, I'm so excited for you. You're going to love this. It's an amazing journey. So who do you know that you'd love to do this with? Like, this program is so amazing to do for yourself, but it's so much more fun if you do it with someone else and you keep each other accountable, and you do your cleanse days together, and you can have a little bit of a competition. It's great to do with a group. So who do you know that you would love to do it with? So I always ask that question. And that's a very open question. It's not who do you know that wants to lose weight, or who do you know that might want to improve their performance in the gym. It's who do you know that you would love to do this with. And most people will come back and say, oh yeah, maybe my partner might like to do it, or oh yeah, my work colleague might be interested. Oh well, great. And that's the opportunity to then go straight into you share, they share, repeat, to share that and say, okay, well, Vanessa, if your friend, they get started on the premium pack, you're going to receive $80 back. $80. Yes. And the cool thing is we have an ongoing promotion where you have 2 people that get started in the same week, then it doubles to 160 per person. Like, how awesome is that? So just for sharing with 2 people, you get $320 back, and then you also get a $50 bonus for helping those 2 people. So it goes to 370. So just for helping 2 people get started, you can earn back $370 straight away. And then if you help those 2 friends do the same, like if you show them how to earn their $370 as well, and they help them go and find 2 people, then if they both do that, you earn $100 for each one of those as well. So that's $570. And you're getting started now. If you do this within 60 days, you'll get a $250 bonus on top. So that's how I do it. And we've obviously got the tools and the scripts and the template and the video to show people. But that question, like, who do you know that you would love to do this program with, is a great sort of lead in to going into showing them about you share, they share, repeat. And so the way that you introduce people to Isogenics is the way that they will introduce people to Isogenics, and the way that their friends will introduce people to Isogenics. So if you're not having the money conversation up front with people, then don't expect them to. They won't be. And then if they ever share with someone, they won't be telling them either. So whatever you do will duplicate. So if you want to grow a team where we go down to 1 PET, 2 levels, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 beyond, which is what we all want to achieve, you need to show people how to get paid. remember I shared before about that first ISA Derby in Hawaii.
Yeah.
So can I share a quick story about that?
Yeah, 100%.
So we're sitting. It was the last night, and I was sitting next to Kylie Donaldson. We were sitting outside on the grass of the hotel, and it was a big Hawaiian luau, and it was just beautiful. Like, it was, magical setting, sunset. Anyway, I was chatting to Kylie. Now, Kylie Donaldson's the #1 income earner in ANZ. But she used to go on my school bus. Like, we used to be school friends, and we went to the same school with John O'Patch, who enrolled us. And so Kylie's on one leg and we're on the other leg. But Kylie, I said to her, like, what did you do to make this incentive? Like, what did you do to qualify? And she said, I enrolled 28 people. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot. Like, fantastic. That's amazing effort. And I said, so how many of those are consultants? And she's gone, oh, none. I've never ever created a consultant. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? What? And so we were all just starting out at the time. Like, she was starting out, and so she'd never created a consultant. And I'm like, why not? I said, are you talking to people about the money? It used to be called U+2, them +2 back then, which was you share, they share, repeat now. So it used to have a different name. And then I think even at the time, we didn't even have a name, but we still had the double PIBs, etc. And anyway, I said, are you showing people how to get paid? She said, oh, no way. I'm like, she had this fear that she felt that people would think she's trying to get them into a business, which all of us have had. Like, I've had that same fear, but we really need to get over that fear, because it's just a story. It's just a story. Everyone would love to know how to make a few extra dollars. Everyone. Anyway, so I was just blown away that she hadn't created a consultant, and so she's like, right, we had that conversation. She's like, right, I'm going to go away from here. I'm going to start showing people the money. Anyway, it wasn't long after that she went executive, so she had to go out and create 10 consultants, 5 on the left, 5 on the right leg. And yeah, now she's a top income earner. But I thought I'd share that, because even the top income earner in ANZ was too fearful to talk about the money at the start. I wasn't fearful at the time, if I'm honest, because that's what I was doing for a living. I was teaching people how to earn money, and but yeah, that's incredible. And I've heard that time and time again from some of the top leaders, is that everyone started out like everyone else starts out. We all have fears, we all have stories, we all lack the belief, but it takes time to build the belief in network marketing. It takes time to build the belief, even in Isogenics as a company. Like, until you get to a celebration, to an event, and really feel the culture and feel the heart and the soul behind the Cougars, it takes time to build that belief. And the big one, it takes time to build the belief in oneself as well, that they can actually do this. And it's a real journey. And I think another big piece of advice I can give is to really go to work on yourself. So the more you grow yourself through reading books, through jumping on calls like this, through coming to events, through being proactive with your learning, sort of don't wait for events to pop up. Don't wait for these calls. Get out and find a new book to read, or a new podcast to listen to, or something to constantly upskill yourself. So the more you upskill and more you grow yourself, the more you will grow as a person, the more your business will grow. So the more you become as a person, the more people you will attract. And so one of the things that I've always done as well, and I like to do, especially with new people that are starting out and wanting to be involved in the business side, is to write down a list of all the attributes of who they want to attract in their business. And this is something you guys could all do. So write it down, like who do you want to attract? What are their values? So they want to be coachable. They want to have energy. They want to be inspiring. They want to be relatable. They want to be have integrity. They want to be a good communicator. They want to show up. Like, all these things you can write down of who you want to attract. So who's your dream player? Who's your dream team player? and write all those things down, and then realize that that's the person that you need to become to attract those types of people to you. And so we can all be a little bit more coachable. We can all have a little bit more fun. We can all be a little bit happier. We can all, it's a choice. It's all a choice. We can all be a little bit more motivated. We can all be on time. We can all do these things a little bit more to be that person. And if we just focus on doing those things day in, day out, as people, we grow, and then we start vibrating and attracting those people into our life. You'll just have people coming out of the blue that will attract to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. And no, I hope everyone's writing all these little tips down because they're so key. And yeah, I find that I do that as well, Scott. And I find that regularly writing that as well, not just once, but reminding yourself of that consistently really helps.
Yeah, absolutely. And writing it down. And then I even have like I call them incantations. I learned this from Anthony Robbins. And as a process in the morning, and whenever you're sitting at your desk or at your office or wherever, and you've got the list of those things on the wall, and you just go through like, I am coachable, I am inspirational, I am passionate, I am energized, I'm determined, I'm strong, I'm focused, I'm committed, I show up, and say those I am words, and it's like you're training your mind, you're training your subconscious mind to become that, and it just. Another thing I was going to say is a great piece of advice is to just have some real clarity around where it is that you want to go. So clarity is power. So clarity, and what I mean by clarity is having your goals written down. Like, so what is your next step goal? Like, what is it for you? Is it getting to manager? Is it getting to crystal executive? Or is it getting to start 1,000? Or is it going from 3-star to 4-star, or 1-star to 2-star, or maybe even hitting the 5-cycle bonus? What's your next goal? So it's like, I believe it's really important that you know what that is and you have it written down. I always have my goals written down in the notes section in my phone, and I just flash at them every now and then, and I have them written on the wall. And so the next step goal, and the other thing about goals is that it's important to have a time date on the goal. So what I mean, well, let's say you wanted to hit the 5-cycle bonus. So you say, on or before 31st of December 2018, I have reached the 5-cycle bonus or better. Does that make sense? So on or before. So always write down on or before, and that gives you permission to achieve it on or before, not on the date. It can happen before. And then whatever that goal is, 5-cycle bonus or better, it gives you permission to go better. Does that make sense? It's just little nuances that really help the mind. So that's really powerful when you've got that written down and clear and specific with the date. Because if you just say, I'm going to achieve the 5-cycle bonus in 1 month's time, which I hear a lot, people say, next month I will achieve the 5-cycle bonus. Well, next month is always going to be next month. If you keep saying that tomorrow, next month, it's still a month. If you say it next week, next month, it's still a month. If you say it next month, it's still next month. Does that make sense? So writing it down and being specific. And so having that next step goal, and then have your longer term goal as well. It could be start 1,000, or it could be hitting 5-star. It could be just replacing your income. It could be taking the kids on a holiday, taking the family on holiday, but having that longer term goal written down as well. And all the other goals as well, like personal goals and lifestyle goals as well. But having your next step goal written down is critical, because if you don't know where you're going, like, where are you going? If you don't know where you're going, where are you going? It's like driving out in the car, out of the garage and going for a drive, but not knowing where you're going. It's like, what am I doing? Where am I going? So got the goals, from my experience anyway, is really critical. And then when you reach that goal, you have straight away set a new one. Celebrate, do something to celebrate, like go out for dinner, like pop a bottle of champagne, go to one of your favorite beaches and have a swim, like just do something to celebrate and then immediately set the next one. And it's just like climbing the stairs to that final destination. If you're just focusing on the final destination, it could be like a huge staircase, and that brain of yours is going to be thinking, like that little voice in the back of your head's going to be thinking, that's not going to happen. That's way too far away. And then you won't do the things day in, day out as passionately or with as much energy as if you're just focusing on the next step. The first step, that's an easy one to get to. And then the next step, and then the next step. But not having that first step goal it's like trying to take a gigantic leap up the staircase. And it's really difficult. So those little steps at a time. I love the analogy of driving, like if you're driving, say let's say you're driving from Auckland to Wellington in the night, right? And you've got your headlights on. You go driving at night time. You can only see like so many meters ahead. You can't see Wellington. But you just got to focus on what you can see. And so you just keep going. You keep getting to that next step. And then before you know it, it might be 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. You're there and like, wow. And then you set the next goal again. So goal setting's been a huge thing for me personally to really keep me focused on where it is that I wanted to go in the business and what time frames. And it's really phenomenal. Like most of those goals were I hit them. It was really exciting.
That's
so showing people how to get paid, knowing who it is that you want to attract in your business, becoming that person, goals. What else? What else do you want me to talk about, Vanessa?
Oh no, that's so much. Thank you so much for those tips. And is there any little tips that you have for doing that work on yourself? I know that's a big one for that personal development. So is there anything you do every day or that you've done, whether it's a book or a course that you have really it's really helped you?
Yeah, I'll tell you one of the best books. And this was given to me as a gift by Jen and Jono. I'll see if I can find it in my bookshelf. Actually, here it is. So I'll actually get a few of them. I'll get a few of the favorite books that have really made a massive difference. Like these two alone would be a really great starting point. So this one here is by Jim Rohn. It's the 5 major pieces of the life puzzle. The 5 major pieces of the life puzzle. Jim Rohn. So Jim Rohn has been like a major guru in the personal development world, and he was like one of the originals, and a lot of the network marketing companies always teach his philosophies. But the two big things that really sort of hit home to me when I first read this, and I started reading this right at the time I started Isogenics, but the big one that hit me was that if you fail to make your own life plan, chances are you're going to fall into someone else's life plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much. And I absolutely felt that because I was pouring my heart and soul into this finance firm, and there was promise of being a big equity stakeholder down the track, and it was all just huff and puff. And I realized that I was working really hard to fall into their plan, and I needed to create my own plan. So that was a big one. So you feel like you're working hard in a job that you don't like, and you're probably sitting in someone else's life plan right now and not in your own. So you're on the right track. And the other thing was that success in life, or success in business, and success in the Isogenics business. All right. So this is huge. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practice every day over an extended period of time. So you don't have to work 20 hours in this business a day to be successful. You need to work more than an hour a day. I work about 4 to 5 hours a day. And that's like the most, like even right in the beginning, I was only doing still running my other business, but doing 15 to 20 hours a week. So you still got to treat it like normal hours. But those simple disciplines that I spoke about. So success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Those simple disciplines are the 3x3x3 formula. So do you guys all know what that is? So maybe, Vanessa, you're nodding. So maybe you can like post that up in your group to share what especially the new people, what it is. But it's making 3 new contacts a day. Okay, and this only has to be 5 days a week. 3 new contacts a day, and that is brand new people that you haven't spoken to about Isogenics before. Don't have to have the Isogenics conversation with them up front in that first contact, but with an intention that at some point when the opportunity comes up in that interaction with this person, that you'll share with them about your Isogenics experience, talking about Isogenics. So 3 contacts, 3 follow-ups. So Jen Jono followed up with me like 9 times before I said yes, 9 times. Most people will go 1 or 2 or 3 most, and then feel like the person hates them and never talk to them again. Maybe, I don't know. But you've got to keep following up. And so there's always great opportunities to follow up with, like, especially coming into the new year. There'll be people that are interested in getting on a health program. Whenever new seasonal shake flavors come out, when we have free membership or 10% off, it's always things that we can do to follow up. Seasonal catalog, essential oils. Whenever there's an opportunity to follow someone up, that's what you can do. So 3 follow-ups a day, and then 3 pouring greatness. So pouring greatness meaning looking for 3 people to recognize and pour some love into, belief into. So it could be someone they might have enrolled their first ever person, or they might have gone consultant or rank advancement, or they might have had their highest cycle week, or they might have, you might have noticed some giving recognition to someone. They might have hit their goal weight loss. They might want anything like that to just pour greatness into. And that's a real important one, the last one. But that, from my experience, that's what I've always been taught to do by the leaders that have coached me, is to do those 3 simple things daily, 3x3x3. And going back to what Jim Rohn talks about, how success is nothing more than a few simple things done daily over time. That's the 3 simple things. And then events.
Yeah.
But that's a fantastic book. The other one is The Go-Giver. The Go-Giver. This is absolutely brilliant. And if you ever have anyone that you're coaching that says, I'm no good at sales, or I'm having trouble getting people, I'm having trouble pushing this stuff, or they've coming from a mindset where they're trying to get, and they may not even realize it. It's like they're trying to get that PIB or get that enrollment or get, and it's so the Go-Giver is all about switching from that go-getter mentality, going out there and going, I'm a go-getter, to being a go-giver. And it's when people have this shift, this is when magic stuff happens. So when people go from the focus of talking to their friends to get an enrollment to talking to their friends because they believe that they have this amazing gift that they want to share with them, it's going to impact their life and help them. Like, from an energetic point of view, from a human being talking to another human being, how's that going to feel? Like, if I'm talking to someone and I believe that I have this incredible gift that's changed my life and changed thousands of people's lives all over the world, that I'm sharing, and I really genuinely want to help a person, how's that going to feel compared to if I'm on the phone and I'm focused about getting that enrollment to qualify for this incentive? Or it's a different energy, and people feel it. Absolutely, people feel it 100%. So the Go-Giver is all about this story about this young guy who's coming up in the world, and he's super successful, but he's a real go-getter, and he's tracking down this like really successful guy that he wants to model, and he finally gets a meeting with, and he teaches him all about becoming a go-giver. It's just a beautiful story, and I think it's such a perfect book for everyone that does Isogenics to read, to learn to come from that place of giving, from contribution. And it doesn't, like, I remember doing events with Tony Robbins and all sorts of other sort of personal development people, and they're talking about how giving is everything, contribution is everything. The more you give, the more you receive. And I used to think in my head that it meant giving money, like I had to give money to receive money. and it just didn't make sense to me. And it took me a while. I was a bit of a slow learner, but when I realized that it's more about giving yourself, giving your energy, and giving your heart, and your giving yourself as a person, that's where the gold is. And that's what it's all about, being a giver, giving, coming from a place of giving rather than a place of getting. Does that make sense? So yeah, those two books are fantastic. And I think the other thing, I'm just checking my battery on my phone. The other book that I think should be read, and it's a real good one, is Think and Grow Rich. So Think and Grow Rich. So a lot of people get stuck in this business, and I even have times when I'm stuck, and it all comes down to a money mindset, what I believe I'm worth. And people will have a self-worth dollar value without even realizing. It's like David Wood talks about in University in Action, how there's that study that was done where 2 jobs were advertised, the exact same job description. One was for $120,000 salary and one was for $60,000 salary. And it was like thousands of people applied for the $60,000 job and hardly anyone applied for the $120,000 job, but they were the exact same job. And it's people have that subconscious money meter in their subconscious. And so reading those sort of books that really help you, I suppose, smash any old limiting beliefs around money, but really realize that abundance is there for anyone who is open to receive it and to give it. And so the more I'll talk about myself, the more I can open up to giving, but also to receiving, the more abundance will flow. And I think, and David Wood also talks about this, that as we grow and as our businesses grow, we continuously have to grow ourselves to be able to mentally handle and believe that we're worthy of receiving the money. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Everybody has that number, don't they? What they think they're worth.
Yeah, and I used to see that also in working in finance and as a financial advisor as well. So any books like that where you can work on your money mindset. So there's Think and Grow Rich, which is the money Bible, I believe. And then another one is the Millionaire Mindset, T. Harv Eker. That's who David Wood used to actually work with, I believe. They're 2 really great books for just building that mental muscle.
Yeah.
And then there's so much out there, like all these things you can do to work on yourself. So GoPro is another great one, which is Eric Worre. He's coming out to Celebration. I love that book, and it's free on Spotify. Well, it's not free. If you've got Spotify, his book GoPro is on Spotify, and you can just listen to it through Spotify. So I listen to that all the time, and I get so much out of that every time I listen to it.
Yeah, there's another one as well on Spotify, and it's him doing a live 8-hour seminar with people. And Calvin and I have been listening to that every time we hop in the car. And it's so key because, it talks about not only growing yourself, but these little tips in your business, around the language that you speak, around, just how you approach people. And it's incredible, the little tips that he gives, the talking to people, the 333, he talks about that. It's an incredible thing, and that's free.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I didn't know about that one. Hey, I've just pulled my headphones out and put my charger in.
Okay.
So I'm getting the wireless ones for Christmas so that I'll be able to charge my phone and listen through my headphones at the same time.
Nice. Santa's coming. Yes.
So has anyone got any questions? Like, do you want to do like a Q&A or something?
Yeah. I'll definitely open up the floor. I just got one more question to ask you within your journey. And one, you talked about you having struggles. Can you think of like a specific time where you were really struggling in your business, or you had a mindset of, is this worth it, or what can I do to keep going, how do you get out of it?
Absolutely. I think look, there's times in life where just life happens. Hey, like things happen with family, like relationships, children, all sorts of things happen. And you go through periods. Well, I've been through periods where my energy has been taken away from the business or from doing the daily stuff. And there's times when I feel that my level of engagement has been high and low. And the trap that I think people can fall into is if your engagement drops. And what I mean by engagement is your engagement with the key leaders in your team. Okay, so if your engagement drops, then their engagement is going to drop as well. Usually, what your team will do, they'll do 50% of what you do and 100% of what you don't do. So if you want your team to be highly engaged, you've got to be highly engaged with them. So I think for me, one of the big things was maintaining that engagement. And I remember I went to Top Achievers in Maui this year, and there's been a few of like the key leaders within my own team, my personally enrolled executives, that their engagement had dropped off from where it used to be, like from when they first started, and they're still cycling well, but their engagement had dropped off and their business is sort of down and flat. And when Top Achievers in Maui, we got to all ask a question and write it down. And my question was, with leaders in my downline that previously were very engaged but are not engaged now, what are some strategies that I can adopt to A, re-engage them, all right, get them more involved, and B, is it worth doing that, or is it worth just focusing on people that really want to run? And so that was my question, and apparently a few people must have asked the same question. And the overwhelming response, and there was a panel answering this, was that, are you as highly engaged as you want them to be? And hand on heart, like, no. So I realized I really needed to lift my own engagement, and that had been a big focus for me all year, actually, was really lifting my own engagement with the key leaders in my team. And just by that switch in my focus and energy and being more engaged with them, that then created engagement in their businesses as well. And so just this year, like every single month on month, my business has grown every month on month. And it's only dropped in the months when there's been like a 5-week month going to a 4-week month. And it's really been because of my engagement level. And what I mean by engagement is having that regular communication, like being on the phone to them, and even having conversations that's totally unrelated to Isagenix, but just being there as a friend and a person, and then getting in and helping and just being more engaged, not just through text message or Facebook message or Facebook groups, but actual like voice to voice, if you can, face to face. That then just keeps that energy and that aliveness through the team. And that's what keeps you going. That's what keeps consistent. If you have periods where your energy and aliveness is off, then expect that to be off with all of the key leaders in your team. And even if you're just starting out, you might only have 2 or 3 people in your team, and you don't have a big team yet, but that's exactly the same whether it's 1 or 2 people or 1,000 people. So keeping your engagement levels up and doing what you expect your team members to do, like walking the walk, walking the talk. So yeah, the periods where I've struggled is when not even realizing it, my engagement's off, and then having that awareness, okay, I need to lift my own engagement. That's a big thing. Some of the other struggles, I think when I first started out, my why was all about being a better partner, being a better father, being more there for my family. Because I was in the office all the time. Like my son missed out on 95% of his dad. And so my big why was all about showing him a better way of living. Like what I was teaching him was that you had to go and be away from your family all day to get by. That's what I was teaching him. And I wasn't there for him. And I was reading a book at the time called Raising Boys. If any of you guys have got boys, or if you are a boy, the Raising Boys talks about how when boys are 0 to 6, their mum is the number one important person in their life. But 6 to 12, boys need their dads. The dads are the key figure that they look up to and they need there for support. And when I was reading this, it made me cry. Like, I was like, I'm not there. And so that was a huge why, a huge driver for me in the beginning. And then when I'm home and when the business is doing really well, like, I outgrew that why. So what can happen is the reason why you start down the track, it can not be the reason why you're still going. So it's almost like as you evolve as a person in your journey, you really need to check back in with yourself as to why it is that you're doing this. And I think periods where I felt that my passion and my energy hasn't been where I wanted it to be is because my why had changed, but I hadn't even realized. So I've had a big journey. I've had a marriage separation, and I'm remarried, and I've got 6 children. And so my why has changed, and it's sort of more about my family and more about helping the other leaders in the team. But I went through this process a couple of years ago, and I created a new vision board. And the vision board really, really helped me get clarity around why it is why I was doing this. So I think if you don't have that clarity around why it is you want this business to work for you, then there's no fuel in the fire. There's no fuel in the tank. And it could be something little, like it could even be just doing it for the money. But just knowing what the fuel is and why, I think that's really, really important. It was for me anyway. And then times when I felt like I was out of alignment was because I'd lost focus of why I was doing it, and because my whole life had changed. So that's another struggle.
Okay, yeah, so important, isn't it? And just to take even, that little bit of time, half an hour, to even just write down your new goals, and like you say, do it all the time.
Yeah, and like I encourage you to do a goal setting workshop like every 3 months, every 6 months. I'm doing a goal setting workshop here in Brisbane on the 12th of December. If any of you guys have team members in Brisbane, I'm teaming up with Jen Jeffries, and we're doing a goal setting workshop on Wednesday night, the 12th, and a few Christmas drinks afterwards. But just writing out the vision for 2019.
So cool. I love it. I'm so going to do that. That's amazing. And soon, it's a perfect time to do it, isn't it? To think about your new goals, like around Christmas time and around the New Year. So no, that's so cool. Thank you for those little tips. So I think, we haven't really got much time left, but I might just open the floor to maybe only one question, one lucky person. If anyone has any.
Natalie's got one.
Sorry, I've got my camera off. I'm in bed because my little boy's being a monkey, so I'm going to talk quietly. Can you guys hear me?
No, you're very quiet.
Okay.
Come closer to the...
Can you hear me now?
A bit better,
yeah. We can hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Oh, good. I think the fan off. Sorry. I was just saying my little boy's being a monkey, so I'm actually in bed with the camera off, and hopefully he won't now wake up with the talking. One thing, at first I saw you in Brizzy, Scott, and I remember meeting you there, and it was just phenomenal hearing you share. So thank you once again for jumping on the call and on the stage.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Natalie.
I just had one question, and I'm sure this will relate to lots of people. If like a big part of your why is the money, so for me, for example, I do this full time, and yes, of course, PIBs do help a lot. And yes, I'm a giving person and love contributing and all the rest. How do you, especially given you came from it sounds like a really hard financial spot, you and Leanne in the beginning as well, and I've heard both of your stories. How did you let that drive you, but not consume you to the point of got to get those PIBs? And, because there's times where I feel a bit out of alignment myself, but it's also realistic, it is a job and you do need to make the money.
Yep. That's a really good question. I think just having that belief, that absolute 100% certainty belief that you're sharing a gift, that's all. It's like gratitude. Like gratitude will eliminate any other bad emotion. You focus on being grateful about something, and I think just coming from that place of giving a gift, I think that's all you need to focus on. That was always my focus, was like, this is such an amazing gift to share with somebody. Like, it was that brown box that first turned up. What an amazing gift that was. So yeah, if you can make that that driver, and just wipe out all the other noise about PIBs and because it's there, but just yeah, and I think that'd be a real game changer. It is. Awesome. It is an absolute gift. It is. It's people just don't know it yet when that first box turns up. And some people don't have the great results. Some people don't catch the vision, and they might drop off after a couple of months. But that's cool. But there's people there that will receive the gift. They'll come to life, and you inspire them, and they'll become your team members and be on this journey with you. And yeah, like, everyone has the potential to be that person. It's just just having that belief. I think that you're really sharing something that can change their life.
Yeah, absolutely. And it has mine. And I mean, like, the trip, money and all of that comes as a result of that. It's just finding that line between just feeling in alignment with it. So thank you. That's so true. Belief that
and that's where, like, reading some more of those books around like the Think and Grow Rich, and working on those money mindset books, that's what I was talking about, because that's where sometimes you can have that mental, like a subconscious battle going on. And that's why it's really
there's definitely a bit of that for me. So I'm going to go get some of those books.
So that's why it's really important to check in and have that self-awareness by reading those books, like I said, like Think and Grow Rich and The Millionaire Mindset, and there's a whole heap of them. Vanessa, what I'll do, I'll message you with a few of the books that I've read over the years, and can put it out there to the team.
Perfect. Yeah, that would be awesome. And also, if anyone else has any burning questions that they really wanted to ask, if you message me them, and then I can get Scott to answer them. But I really want to honour your time for just keeping in this hour, because I know.
All right. Yes.
Your Monday night.
I got a 4 a.m. actually a 5 a.m. flight from Brisbane to Sydney tomorrow, and then in Queenstown tomorrow afternoon.
Oh wow! Yeah, you're a busy guy, so I'll let you get back to your family and into bed early. But I think that one thing that I really is so clear about you, Scott, is your heart and your passion and how you share this with excitement. And I think that that's something that we can all take away with us, is just sharing it with just like Isagenix, this gift with so much heart and passion. And then it's hard not for people to catch, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so thank you so much for jumping on. We've all got so much out of this, I'm sure, and I'll put the little key things I've learnt and the book's names and everything on the page tonight as well.
And your amazing interview, amazing questionnaire, like, awesome job, Vanessa.
Oh, thanks, Scott. Making me blush. Thank you so much, and enjoy your flights tomorrow, and we look forward to seeing you in New Zealand.
Guys, soon. All right. Bye.
See you, Scott.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, see you later. Safe travels. Go on,
Thank
Ferg.
you.
You go.